Welcome to the Orange City Literature Festival's book review podcast. My name is Afra Iqbal and I'm thrilled to bring to you this new segment for the students of Nagpur. This year marks the 6th edition of the OCLF and we are delighted to provide students a platform to talk about their favorite books. Joining me today is a very special guest, Ms. Chaitnya Gwalbansi from the MKH Sancheti Public School and Junior College, and she will be speaking to us about her favorite book, the deep, dark, gripping thriller, The Owl Killers by Karen Maitland. So, Chaitanya, a very warm welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling great. Are you pumped for this interview? Are you excited to be here? Are you excited for this? Lovely. So, let's get started?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, Chaitanya, this book, firstly, it is a fascinating choice, okay? It is a historical thriller. And it is not just any historical thriller. It is set in the medieval times, which is way back. So for a student like you, who is, let me say, Gen Z, a child of this era and generation, what interested you in this book so much that it is your favorite? And tell us a little more about the book.
So the first thing that caught my attention in the book was the cover page. It was a airy and a kind of gothic kind of vibe which it gave, and then I read this summary. It spoke of independent women, or rather women who are trying to be independent in a dark era. So we can understand that even we face contemporary issues that are similar to the issues we have faced in the past. Many people with narrow-minded mindsets are suffering, or they have trouble accepting women as their leader, especially if religious leaders or anything. So we can analyze history better if we view it from the lens of the past.
It is a very interesting insight for someone of your age, that we can analyze the present through the history of the past, and that yes, of course, it appears relevant, and the fact that women are not accepted. Even today we see a lot of times women are toned down, they're brought down for being strong, opinionated voices. So again, back to the medieval times, there are so many other books on women, but is something about the medieval setting that interested you? Are you interested more in history, historical fiction?
Yeah, actually this was the first historical fiction I read, and now I will be looking forward to read more.
Reading more? Any particular books you have in mind? Any recommendations?
Like from the same author, Karen Maitland, I would like to read The Company of Liars.
Oh, okay. Lovely choice, by the way. All right. So, now the book itself is of the Dark Ages. Now, when it says Dark Ages, I'm going to assume there's murder, there's magic, there's supernatural elements, there's a lot of things. And even in the book, there is a secret society, right? So, which of these elements fascinated you the most?
So, what really fascinated me was the Beguinage of women, the House of Women. So, as they decided to settle outside this town of Ulwick, and there was a lot of dark things going on in the village. The owl masters, they were bullying people into getting their will out of it. So the way these women stayed strong and suffered, and they just figured out how to survive it, and it was really fascinating.
Okay, so you mentioned owl masters, the Beguinage, and the villagers, and all of these. At any point, did you find yourself sympathizing with any particular group or relating more to that group?
I obviously related more to the House of Women. They had their inner conflicts, but they had bigger problems to face. So they managed to handle it all so beautifully and so strongly. It was amazing.
Okay, yes, they continued to strive even in the face of distress. That's lovely. When I speak of, when you mentioned that there are clashes between the owl masters, the villagers, again, because they differ so much on the way they live, their lifestyle, their ideas, the way they perform their day-to-day activities, let's say. Even in today's times, this is a very relevant thing. A lot of times, we see clashes between society and individuals who are very independent, who have different ideas, who are modern, who have modern ways of thinking. And unfortunately, society is not very accepting of them, right?
Yeah.
So what, according to you, can be done so that society is more accepting of these modern ideas? Because, a lot of them are very harmless, right? So what, according to you, can be done to make society more accepting of our modern ideas and this change?
As society, we should start to impose this belief, or we should have this belief that it's okay to accept someone. That even if your ideologies don't match, even if you have different beliefs, you can still accept them. It's okay to have a different opinion. So if everyone starts to think this way, we can make it a better place.
That's a very interesting point. Obviously, mutual respect all the way. The way if we respect people and let them be, I suppose that would eliminate a lot of clashes and reasons for conflict. Even if you see, in today's times, we have so many lifestyle changes. If we look at the LGBT community, they've gained so much acceptance over the years, and that has come from, mutual respect of people. So, a lot of the hate that goes towards certain people is because of deep-rooted mindsets, old values, superstitions even. Do you think our society should have any place for old traditions or superstitions?
Yes, I think talking about our society, as in India, we tend to stay close to our parents, our families, so we are all too bonded together. So it's a good thing. We should be able to differentiate a superstition or a belief if it is of good cause or of bad cause. In Western countries, you don't see much bonding among the families. But on the dark side, we can see that women are being held back by the traditions. So there are some evil traditions that we need to abolish.
Okay, and what about superstitions then? Because we see, a black cat crossing your way or spilt milk. Do you think these are rational? Do you think smart, independent women or individuals of this century need to follow these superstitions?
No, I don't think they need to, because they are baseless. They have no reason.
They are not rational, more importantly.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the owl masters, as we've been speaking about them for some time, they rely on fear and power to exert control over individuals in the village and turn them against the women. So, do you think fear these days can be used to control people? Is it affecting the way they behave?
Yes, I think people are scared of things they don't understand. So, fearing the unknown is the problem here. So, yes, fear can be a great tool to manipulate someone into doing whatever you like. But I think people need to understand that they don't always have to react with this instinct. They need to analyze and understand the problem, what's going on with them. So, I think, fear is being used today as a tool by many people. And it needs to be changed.
Now, let's say in an ideal situation in the book, the villagers stopped fearing the owl masters, because they are resorting to crime, violence, murders. Let's say the villagers stood up to them. They did not listen to the owl masters. Obviously, then the owl masters would have no influence in the village.
Yeah.
Under that condition, under those circumstances, do you think the villagers and the Beguinage could have coexisted peacefully if there was no external interference of the owl masters?
Yeah, even if there was no interference of the owl masters, there is a possibility that villagers might not accept the Beguinage of women because they are doing something different, something odd that people don't see in that age. Even in the 13th century, this concept of Beguinage was really new, and people are having trouble accepting it as a fact that it can be a thing. So,
yes, and of course there were allegations of women engaging in witchcraft, which was all lies. And I believe there is a character in the book who is accused of witchery, right?
So, she's Gudrun's grandmother, and she uses herbs and things like that to heal people. But people accuse her of witchcraft.
Yes.
There is an incident that a body of a dead boy goes missing, and people believe that she must have stolen it for her satanic things and stuff.
It's unfortunate that the stereotype of an old woman bent over a bubbling cauldron of liquid is a witch.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily true. I mean, she could be brewing her herbs for all we know. So, you mentioned Gudrun. Is she somebody you like? Is she your favorite character?
She's my favorite character.
Okay, and why?
She is portrayed as a delicate 12-year-old girl who is really vulnerable, and she would rather spend her time alone with nature and with animals. There is my favorite scene in the book where Gudrun is walking around with a skirt on top, and there are many butterflies. There are like thousands of butterflies that come and sit on her. So it's almost like she's wearing live butterflies.
That's beautiful imagery. It's very nice to visualize, right?
Yeah, and there is grass and the sun and everything is so beautiful.
Lovely. I can imagine it would obviously appear very beautiful in my own mind. Now, you mentioned that even despite the owl masters not having an influence, the villagers may not really take a liking to the Beguinage, let's say. So, if you were a villager, and let's say if you were to approach the Beguinage, and convince them and ask them, why is it that we should listen to you? Why is it that we believe you? What response would you expect from them, and what would you say to them? Would you listen to them?
Yeah, of course I would listen to them because I believe that they're doing no harm. They perform good deeds like charity because they too believe in God like the church. But just because they're a house of women, people don't respect them or think of them as much of importance.
And how would you encourage the other villagers to not ostracize the Beguinage?
It would be kind of difficult to influence other people because they have this deep-rooted toxic mindset. So we cannot just, but we cannot expect them to change in one day. It will take a few years, even generations. But I think we can hope for a change.
We can hope for a change, and unfortunately, as optimistic and as constructive views you hold, the exact opposite happens in the book. It has a very sad ending, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, in your mind, a lot of characters, a lot of individuals in the Beguinage have been wronged. For example, their leader, Gudrun, her grandmother. So, in your opinion, what alternative ending would you suggest? For example, would you prefer not to have the sad ending? Would you like to give credit to the Beguinage? How would you vision the ending of the book?
There were many characters who were making efforts to do a good deed for everyone, the Beguinage, the village, everyone. But they never got any credit. So, especially Beatrice, she is like the oldest member of the Beguinage, and she's old enough, or maybe she has spent so much time with the House of Women that she should be appointed as a leader. See, leaders in the Beguinage have their own domains. As if the kitchen Martha handles the kitchen and shepherd Martha the shepherd stuff. So I think she needs some justice.
Okay.
Because
so you would perhaps have an ending where she's reinstated,
Yeah.
welcomed and honored perhaps for all the good she has done.
Yeah.
Okay, on that note, let's say if you could again be transported into the world of the owl killers, okay, and I mentioned that there is a secret society. If you could create your own secret society and have a set of powers, let's say, so what would you like to have, and how would you protect the Beguinage? Because you seem very inclined towards their beliefs.
Yeah. So I would have a secret society just like the Owl Masters, but I'd rather not use my power for the evil causes. I would do everything in my power to protect the Beguinage of women because they are doing a good deed, and unlike the Owl Masters, they mean no harm. And I'll secretly work to protect them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very nice. That's a very good thought. And I hope you get to form your secret society even today and champion the right causes that the world is facing right now.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'd like to wrap up this episode of today's podcast. A huge thank you to Chaitnya for being here. Your insights were marvelous. It was an absolute joy listening to you, your insight, your wisdom and your thoughts for such a young age. They are remarkable and applaudable. So it was an absolute joy listening to you. And with this, we wrap up this episode. But I have other good news for our listeners. That is, you can visit the Orange City Literature Festival at Chitnavis Center from 22nd, 23rd and 24th of November. And you will have the chance to meet hundreds of authors and delve into the magical world of books. So, until next time, stay tuned because we shall be back with many more students of different schools and listen to them speak about their favorite books. So, until then, happy reading, happy listening, and always keep exploring. Thank you.